What's up, fellow gamers? It's Nightwing here, the Wii Live Game Reviewer, bringing you yet another review. This time we have the classic Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis Earthworm Jim. This is yet another review that was requested by my wife. Story for Earthworm Jim. Now, Jim is nothing more than a regular old earthworm until one day a supersuit falls from outer space and lands right on top of Jim. Jim then becomes the superhero Earthworm Jim, whose mission is to save Princess What's-Her-Name. Not only does the suit give Jim superpowers, but also unique weapons and abilities that he couldn't have just being a regular earthworm. Concept for this game. Now, Earthworm Jim's first opening concept of the game is to escape Earth. Why are you trying to escape your home planet? Well, mainly because you're being targeted by all these different crazy villains. Why? Because you have the suit. This super suit can actually, supposedly, rule the known galaxy. But for Jim, it really doesn't do anything that spectacular. In fact, all it does is kind of give him superhuman strength and, you know, he can do crazy things with his head. But that's basically it. Everybody's trying to gain possession of this super suit that Jim's inside of. So Jim not only has to save his own hide, but then he has to go and fight Psychro and do all these things that just a normal earthworm wouldn't do. He goes all over the known galaxy fighting so many different bosses and mini-bosses. He goes through about 8 stages, and he's doing all this not only to protect himself, but to save a girl he's never met. Controls for this game. Okay, just so everybody knows, I'll be explaining the Super Nintendo controls. Move Jim with the command cross. In order to make Jim jump, simply press the B button. In order to use your gun and look like an insane maniac, hold in the Y button or tap it repeatedly, whichever you prefer. I love his facial expressions with the lighting and stuff like that. In order to use Jim's head as a weapon, yeah, there's the concept, simply press the A button and move it in whatever direction you want using the command cross. You can also do a helicopter move by tapping the B button, but it really doesn't serve any purpose in this game. Now, Earthworm Jim 2, it's very vital. Now, in order to swing yourself like Indiana Jones, except Earthworm Jim style, first you have to find a hook. And then you press the jump button and your whip at the same time and you can swing yourself. Now I have to explain Anti-Asteroid's controls. Simply use the B button, hold it in order to drive your vehicle, move with the command cross, and when you get shield generators, press the Y button to act as kind of like this shield protecting you. You can destroy rocks and bump into Psychro and don't have to worry about hurting yourself. Alright, design for this game. Well, first off, in 1994, there were not games that could touch Earthworm Jim. This game was so high above all the other games in just its design alone. There were no other games that were made quite like Earthworm Jim. Well, there were cartoony games in the arcades like Dragon's Lair and Space Ace, but for a console game, this was revolutionary. And what do I mean by that? Well, Earthworm Jim himself is a very interesting designed character. No other game character, with exception to the Wind Waker's Link a few years ago, could touch Earthworm Jim. Everything from his facial expressions to when he's firing the gun, to the lighting effects, to his interacting with different characters on the stage was unmatched by any other game character. Earthworm Jim was in a class all his own in '94. But I want to talk a little bit about the actual levels, the backgrounds themselves. One level in particular is the stage called Down the Tubes, which is this underwater kind of Atlantis stage. And what makes this stage interesting is you can see the shifting background of the water to make you feel like you're really in an underwater Atlantis, which was great. This level in particular, this boss stage called What the Snot, you can really see the whole cartoony feel of the game, especially when Jim gets bitten in half. You can see him splash and the interaction with the boss characters there again. Level 5 is another level that's very well designed. It gives the whole mad scientist monkey head his own wacky world, and it just expresses that character. But my favorite stage happens to be, and this is my wife's favorite as well, it's called What the Heck. No, I'm serious. The name of this stage is called What the Heck. and you're probably wondering why it's my favorite stage. Because it's the best designed stage in this game, and it's probably the best designed stage in a video game at that time. There is so much going on, not only in the background, but in the stage itself, from the enemies interacting with Jim, like right here facing the evil lawyers in the underworld. Just so very cool. There's so many reasons why this stage is the best stage in the game. It's so hard to describe it. You really capture the feel of what the animators and the designers and the people who worked on this game were trying to express about this insanely zany level. It's just incredibly weird, but it works. Even the boss battle is completely unexpected. And probably what makes this level work so well is the music. Alright, the history for this fun time. Earthworm Jim was first on the Sega Mega Drive. Then his second game, Earthworm Jim 2, was on all consoles at that time. He even had a cartoon show in '95. He even was in the Clay Fighter 63 in the third series and Sculptor's Cut. Everybody wanted a 3D Earthworm Jim game, but we got a Game Boy Color one first. Finally, we got our 3D Jim game on the N64 in '99. It was a bomb. Nearly killed the series, too. Earthworm Jim saw a revival on the Game Boy Advance, with both 1 and 2 being re-released. Earthworm Jim PSP was supposed to come out as a remake, but was untimely scrapped. Should Earthworm Jim be on the Virtual Console? Start a petition! Bad aspect about this game. What do I have wrong with this wonderful game? Well, I hated the level for Pete's sake. I hated how you had to shoot the puppy, and then you had to smack him. Talk about cruelty to animals. It was just a dumb stage, and it was very, very hard. Another stage that I absolutely despise, even to this day, is called Down the Tubes. Now, I know in my design aspect I talked about how great designed the level is, but I forgot to mention how incredibly, insanely hard that level is. Not to mention you have a timer for how long you can be in that little bubble, and when you smack into things, guess what? It breaks and you die. So not only do you have a counter, but you have to go through the level without smacking into things, and it's next to impossible to get a good speed going and not kill yourself. And it's just so annoying. I honestly tried to love that level, but I hate it. I hate it. Good aspect. Lucky for Earthworm Jim, there is some saving graces to this game that actually make it fun and replayable, besides all the really hard stages. Anyway, one such in-between stages happens to be the Andy Asteroids levels where you race Psychro. Now, what's not to love about these sub-levels? They're just so cool to play. Not to mention, every Earthworm Jim fan absolutely loves those stages. Another thing I love about this game is you get to use your head as a weapon, and it doesn't drain your health. It just adds to the wacky zaniness of this game. Another thing that's really, really cool, if I didn't mention it already, Bad Mr. Frosty from the Clay Fighter series makes a cameo in the level What the Heck. How cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? Aside from this game being insanely difficult, they don't make games like they used to, this game is still pretty fun to play, and it was groundbreaking for its time. The final score that I give this game is a groovy 7 out of 10. Check it out. And pray it comes to the Virtual Console. My next review is not Contra, sadly, because it's not on the Virtual Console. My next review is Super Contra, or Super C, or Contra 2, whatever you want to call it. Well, gamers, that's it for me. God bless, and happy gaming.